What is up, guys? Today we're going to be discussing RunDisney's recent announcement to go virtual with the Star Wars Rival Run, as well as some additional information that they released about the event. Like all of our other 2020 and 2021 RunDisney races, Star Wars Rival Run, the last race we were holding out hope for, has unfortunately made the announcement to go virtual. Also, they made the announcement that this race will not be returning next year.
Yes, so in their announcement for the virtual Star Wars race, they did announce that they were, quote, excited for the retheming of this race in 2022. That's all that they said about it, was retheming. We are now excited to see what this race is going to turn into.
But also very sad if, like me, you were someone who has run this race since the inaugural year. 2020 was actually supposed to be the 5th anniversary. Despite them going from the dark side to the Rival Run, they still were holding true to perfect status.
When this announcement came out, that was one of the things that everyone who, like you, had perfect status of course wondered about, is what would happen to their perfect status. After the 2020 race was canceled, it was inquired what would happen to his perfect status, and they said that it would be maintained until the next race. Similar to 2020, the question was asked directly to RunDisney by another runner. That email from RunDisney did say that the Perfect Legacy program, which they call it, does not apply to Star Wars runners any longer. That makes us think that the 2022 race theme will not be a Star Wars race.
So the benefit of losing the perfect status is that it does start a new weekend that you could potentially be perfect at again. For newer RunDisney members, people who haven't been here since Star Wars or weren't interested in Star Wars and wouldn't want to be perfect in that event, this could be a good opportunity to try to have a new perfect event.
Yeah, I'm a bit excited about it. I missed 1 year of the half for Star Wars, so I was not perfect at it like was. And I was always a little jealous, so now I have a chance to come back.
This does make sense from a RunDisney standpoint. As much as I love the Star Wars theming and I like Star Wars, this was their least popular race. This race hardly ever sold out.
I'm not sure it ever did. It's the latest race in the season. It's in April, which in Florida can be very, very hot. You have the chance of cooler weather, but oftentimes it can be pretty hot. You get into that rainy part of the year, and it's generally a rougher time for some people to travel. Usually spring breaks are a little earlier. It makes sense why it was always a smaller weekend. Now, if they retheme it, I assume it's going to be around the same time of year. So I'm interested to see what theme they'll pick that they think will be more popular. And this retheming idea, they did say that they were going to retheme the race. This idea that they're going to retheme it away from Star Wars is just conjecture by RunDisney fans at this point. They have not said that, but that's what we feel like they're gonna do.
So some other thoughts to kind of back up this idea. First off, this used to be the dark side race back when they had light side races in California. Of course, light side went away, so it didn't make sense to only have a Star Wars villains themed race. That's just a little bit too niche. So they changed it to the Rival Run. Unfortunately, as much as I do like this theme, I don't think it's a theme that could really stand the test of time. Only because eventually you are going to run out of rivals. Now, just like a Princess Weekend, they can always go back and recycle through and change out. I think eventually you would have ran out of the core group.
So that might be an argument for just a generic Star Wars race retheming. Just go back to a Star Wars themed weekend. I feel like there's so much growth in Disney properties recently and so many new things they could explore that they might try for another cash cow.
Here are my thoughts on what I think is going to be coming. If I had to lay my money down and bet, I think that this race will be changed to a Pixar theme. We have had very little Pixar representation in the RunDisney community, and I think that there's a lot of titles there that people would definitely jump on the opportunity to go and have a race themed around.
Pixar's been around for long enough now to where the folks who are of Run Disney money spending age are ready to spend money on those themes. There's enough nostalgia there, there's enough popularity, and I think that's a really good bet.
But that's not a guarantee.
Right, and I will say when they have had a Pixar themed individual races over in California, and they were really popular. Those themes were big deals when they were announced.
Now, my second thought is a little further stretched. However, 2020's already been a weird year in itself. I think it's definitely possible. I think we could see an even more generic race theme that may be like Into the Movies, where we get kind of an encompassing live action theme. So they could circle back to Star Wars, Mandalorian, or maybe something's gonna work out in our favor and we might see some Marvel races also return.
Yeah. If you're doing live action, you could also get into Pirates of the Caribbean, which is a pretty popular franchise, especially those kind of original trilogy movies.
We also have a whole assortment of live action princess movies now and remakes. It's very possible that they could do themes around those, especially when new ones come out. They do love to pick themes around hyping up upcoming releases.
They could, and that's really what they've used Princess Weekend for in the past few years. Each race weekend has pretty much had a theme related to one of the live action movies that have come out.
Another idea that actually came from Steve from the DCO podcast when we were chatting about this is potentially the theme for another in-park theme, similar to Wine and Dine, where the race is actually themed around, you know, Epcot and the Wine and Dine event. Perhaps we get something themed to another park. You know, we always had the Tower of Terror 10K, which was very beloved, and that was a repeating theme year after year that never really changed.
Yeah, so I could see them doing a really cool, like, Animal Kingdom theme, having a Avatar Pandora themed medal. I believe would be very popular with how well that land has been received. And then, you know, Lion King themed medal. There's a lot of opportunity there.
We could see something where it rotates from park to park. Perhaps we get a like classic Magic Kingdom year, and then you get a contemporary year. Then, as Katie said, you could bounce from different parks and have icons from different parks. We've seen similar ideas with the past summer virtual, where they did different themes from classic rides. I think it was Teapot, Space Mountain, Haunted Mansion. And then you had the e-ticket for like the challenge, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a really cool medal. They could even do something that's a weekend themed to the parks where, say, the 5K was Animal Kingdom, the 10K was Hollywood, and the half was Epcot or something, and those were your themed medals. I think Run Disney fans would like that. I don't know how repeatable that is. I don't know how many years in a row you could get just like this park themed medal, this park themed medal, this park themed medal. I would run for those medals. With the transformation of the Star Wars race to a virtual race, Run Disney is doing the same thing that they did for the Princess Weekend. So if you were already registered, you have the choice to transfer your registration to a virtual, and with that you can actually pick different tiers of the virtual that you want to do, which I actually think is nice that they're offering this option. It gives people some choices and it makes the cost a little bit better depending on what you're trying to do. So you can pick a tier where you only get the medals. So if you're doing the challenge, you just get your 3 medals for the 10K, the half, and the challenge. If you're just doing the 10K or the half, you just get that medal. They also have an option where you can pay for the medals and all of the shirts for the event. So you can get all 3 medals and all 3 shirts. And then they also have an option where you can get all 3 medals and just the challenge shirt. So they give you some options. We personally are not going to do the virtual runs. We decided to get a refund for both of us, just because we've talked about this before. Virtual runs aren't really a huge deal to us, but we have seen this week actually a lot of people started getting their virtual Wine and Dine medals and shirts, and I will say Run Disney did a great job mailing those out and packaging them in a very aesthetic way. So I think if you do choose that option to do the virtual run, it is going to be a cool experience. And we actually are signed up to do the virtual Princess 5K with my sister coming up in February. So we'll get to experience and even have like a little unboxing of a medal at that point. For us personally, for Star Wars, we decided to do the refund. If you were registered for Star Wars, just make sure you're keeping an eye on your email for that refund email to come through. So far, we've only gotten one of the two of ours, so they are kind of slowly sending those out. Just keep an eye on it. I'm sure in the next week or two, all of them will be sent out.
Also, make sure that you know what your original payment method was, whether it was a gift card or your credit card, because it will go back onto that same payment method. If you have lost that, you do need to contact RunDisney right away. I believe they actually mail you out a check.
They will send you a check if you have lost or have no longer have access to your card payment method. If you paid with a gift card, you will get the balance back on a gift card.
So we're gonna fully speculate here, and let's just say they decide to keep it Star Wars, and it's gonna be kind of a more generic rotating Star Wars theme. We're going to talk about what our ideas would be to make this event a little more interesting and draw in a larger crowd. My first idea is go the wine and dine route and have an after hours party at Hollywood Studios for the people who run it. That is a huge draw for Wine and Dine because it's included if you run the half marathon, so you don't have to get a separate park ticket if you do not want to. It's just one of the things that makes that weekend so special.
Right, and one of the reasons Wine and Dine as a race is so popular is that after party, because if you were to go to Food and Wine Festival normally during that time, it's very busy, very crowded, just like Galaxy's Edge is. So this gives an exclusive, cool opportunity. Plus, Hollywood Studios is a park that's really great at night. Back when they did Night of Joy there, it was really cool to be there so late. So I think they could do that really well. And I think it would get more people to sign up.
Of course, another idea, getting rid of the rival run theme. You could do some more generic themes. We have lots of new shows and movies coming. Of course, a Mandalorian theme or a Baby Yoda medal or Grogu medal would probably be very popular.
Spoilers.
And
it would be popular if you're a fan. I don't think we spoiled anything. Just like you said, there's so many new shows that have yet to be released. We have an Obi-Wan show. We have a new Ahsoka Tano show with Rosario Dawson. So I think there's going to be a lot of really good content coming out that should be pretty far-reaching. It'll reach enough people and gain enough popularity that then they could realistically theme a race around it.
And my last idea would be make the race run through Galaxy's Edge. We have a Star Wars themed race. It doesn't make sense that you wouldn't run through the land that it's themed after.
Obviously, we're a bit disappointed that this race was canceled. It'll mean over a year of no races for us at Disney. I think we're probably looking at maybe into 2022 before we will see a race again. There's a lot of exciting things coming. Our hearts go out to anyone who also had a race canceled and is disappointed, but just try to think of all the fun things that are ahead.
So that's gonna do it, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, comment what would you change about Star Wars weekend, whether it's the theming or the race course or an after hours party. Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Bye.
I mean...
Sorry.